Good evening, everyone. Very happy to be here. So I'm Wenjing from Open Architecture, and today the project I'm presenting to you is a research and laboratory building in Tsinghua, in Graduate School of Tsinghua University in Shenzhen. But from the very beginning, this wasn't just simply a research and laboratory building to us. Sorry, how do I flip the pages here? Oh, great, thank you. So the site is in Shenzhen. It's a subtropical city in the southern part of China and a booming metropolis which was built upon fishing villages in merely 3 decades. To zoom in a little bit, so our site is in the once very remote suburb of Shenzhen. It's so remote that across the street from our site is a wildlife zoo. The wild animals were there way before all the university buildings and residential buildings populated the area. Now I heard the news is the zoo will be relocated in the future with the full-scale human invasion into this place. So for anyone who has paid the slightest attention on China will know that in the recent decades, we have built very fast, often too fast and too much. And one particular interesting phenomenon out of this rapid urbanization is what I call the making of instant university towns. So the government would give large pieces of land to important institutions, universities, for them to open new campuses or branch offices outside the city. And these university towns are built so fast, almost instantaneously, as comparing to how traditional universities would be made. And often these university towns are very large. So our building is located in one of these typical university towns, and with grand scale and lots of academic buildings, but very little support facilities, very little public facilities. So on this campus, when we visited, you barely see any people walking around in campus. The students and staff are either inside their laboratories and classrooms or in their dormitories because there's not much else to do. So what we had was the last parcel of land on this campus, the black dot on this map. And we wanted to, it's a very small site, but we were allowed to build high, up to 60 meters above ground. So, like I mentioned to us, from the very beginning, our ambition was never just a simple, nice laboratory building. We wanted to take this last opportunity to make a difference to this campus. And we wanted to design a building that could really engage in the campus life, with a totally different attitude. So this campus has a very long linear axis. And on one end is the dormitories, and at the other end is the last plot, which is our building site. And in the middle are all the different academic buildings. So this axis is actually a double-decker covered walkway, which also carries all the service utilities in this campus. So we did not just want this utilitarian, but nonetheless very important axis to end plainly here. We are hoping that we can design a new building which can service the whole campus, not just the the people who have labs and offices here. So what we did is we decided to extend this axis, fold it upwards, and create a public promenade that goes zigzag up the building, all the way to the roof, which one will be able to enjoy a panoramic view of the surrounding area, of the distant mountain, and of the zoo, which is beneath. So here, on the left side is what we are familiar with, the horizontal campus quad. And in the middle, it's a diagram that we turn this horizontal campus quad vertically into a vertical campus, and with a public promenade going through it. So this Ocean Center is actually made up with 4 different research centers, sub-centers. So each stack of, how do I go back? Okay. So each stack of solid volumes are actually one center. And we put the shared classrooms and exhibition spaces, cafeterias in between of in between each 2 centers, which can be conveniently accessed and shared. And in the lower floor of the building, we created a path that links to the 2nd floor of the public corridor in the campus, and then created a path for people who just want to cross the building. And we added some public facilities there so people can enjoy. But we also taken care in designing the access of the building so that people don't get into the labs they're not supposed to be in. So in designing this building, one important aspect to us is the integration of science and humanities. For science, we wanted to design a building which is functional and efficient and flexible. In this campus, we have observed that many of the existing laboratory buildings have many retrofit pipes and ducts chaotically organized on the outside of the building, on the facade of the building. Because in the original designs, these mundane but very important aspects of the buildings, of laboratory buildings, were not given enough consideration. So the scientists were forced to, exercise their creativity in whatever they can do. They just add pipes whenever they need it to their laboratory on the outside of the building. So in designing this new building, we decided to put the service infrastructure on both ends of the building with very generous capacity for future expansion. And so the building in the middle will be served from both ends. Then in the future, if the spaces need to be repartitioned, they can do so very easily. Repartition the laboratory spaces in the middle however they want. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. Each of the center horizontally, what is not shown is missing block is the offices of these centers. So we pulled apart each center's office from the laboratories a little bit to insert a stair that connect all the public floors. And talking about, okay, so so each of the center, the smaller block is their office, and the larger block is their laboratories. And talking about humanity, what they meant is it can be a place that connects all the people, not only the scientists, researchers in different centers, but also the people on this whole campus. They can meet and socialize, and we hope interdisciplinary exchange in this building can happen naturally. So here is a clip that shows the overall feeling of the building. This is across one open floor. That's looking into the zoo. Oh. Oh, sorry. I'll go very quickly. So the site is very small, like I said. So this building envelope is pretty much what's allowed on this site, respecting all the setback requirements. It's a night view. It's a So the language of this architecture is really derived from local hot and humid subtropical climate. These open floors provides very pleasant shaded semi-outdoor spaces with nice breeze during hot summer days. And the bristles are used to cut off the direct sunlight into the labs and the offices while allowing the views to go out. And we made the ceilings of all the shared floors different shades of blue, going from lighter to darker, from top to bottom, just as how the color works in deep ocean. See some zoom-in views. I have to run really quickly. The basement. So the basement in this building is really special, with this tank, research tank is really the most important lab in this building for deep ocean experiments. And we made 3 light cannons to bring natural light into this lab. You see the 3 light cannons here. And this is the main entry into the building. Okay. The lower floors and the ground floor, there has 2 exits, 2 entries. The view showing the south entry. And that's the north entry. We created a public path then for people who don't need to circle around the building. This is the lobby seeing both entries. This is the second floor that connects to the existing public walkway. And this is the summer outdoor cafe to serve the whole campus. And we put in a convenience store here. This person is standing on the 4th floor on top of the conference room, looking down at the public path. It's a 3rd floor. This is a conference room. This is one of the shared open floors with public classrooms. I'm just going to quickly click through. Panning through one of the public floors and going up to the roof. The roof, okay. We made an organic shaped terrace on the roof with a little outdoor theater. So this is the best view on this whole campus, which can be enjoyed by everyone. So you can catch some views of the giraffe. I thought this is a really interesting pair of images here. Here's a researcher in her lab, and these are the giraffes in the zoo. They can have a rather romantic relationship looking at each other. See some quick images showing the process of making this building. It's a formwork. Okay, all right. Okay, sorry about it. Okay, with this, I'm ending my presentation. Thank you very much.